Hey Onda, thanks for watching Doing Life with Jenny. If you're new here, in June of 2023, I moved from St. Louis in the US to Mexico to the state of Hidalgo. Today I'm showing you what a normal Thursday looks like here living in Mexico. I hope you can see me. This tripod, the way it holds the phone blocks the view of what's showing in the camera, so I have to guess. So I woke up at 6 in the morning on Fridays. I have 3 classes back to back to back, starting at 7:30, but I have to be logged in by 7:20. My first class is high school English language arts, and they might need some support in Spanish. My next class is just one girl, high school, also ELA. I'm not sure why she's in tutoring because she does a pretty nice job. I'm an English and a Spanish teacher. I have my own private students. Then I also work for a tutoring company that's not really tutoring. It's me actually coming up with the lessons or teaching pre-written lessons. It's not just answering homework questions or going over an old test or recent homework. And then my third class this morning is 3rd grade Spanish. So I'm actually teaching them Spanish and they are native speakers. So it's bam, 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 back to back to back. So I will catch you after that. And yes, I'm extremely tired. I slept well, but it's the fact that I had to wake up and it was still dark outside. So with this first group this week, I wrote them a story to work on their reading comprehension. They're high school again, but it says for them to read 2nd to 5th grade level. So of course, anything I find is going to be about a little butterfly making friends in the forest, which is not appropriate. So I wrote them this mini novel that applies to things that they're interested in, that includes going to Mexico and Honduras, which is where my students are from, just to make it a little bit more age appropriate. And the mini novel is quite good, if I might add. So in my second class, we have the same 2 or 3 standards to work on all school year. So it's kind of getting a little too repetitious, but it's working on figuring out vocab via context clues, citing evidence to support your analysis, and identifying the theme. Luckily, this girl is amazing, because if it were any other student, they would be refusing to do it by now. And then with my 3rd graders, the Spanish class and their native speakers, it's like learning to put the accent marks, letter patterns, reading comprehension, prefixes, suffixes. There's a pretty good variety. Okay, I have a couple minutes before my next class, so we're gonna keep working on the laundry. I accidentally bought a washer that is not automatic. So between each cycle, this is like wash, rinse. Now I'm on drain. So I have to come out here and change it after each cycle. Luckily, it does make its little song when it's ready for the next cycle so you can hear it. Okay, so I just finished my morning classes, and after class I just have to leave notes about like what we did, if anything went wrong that they should know about. So usually I go to the tianguis, or the big outdoor market, on a certain day that I won't disclose, so you cannot determine my exact location. I wasn't able to go that day because I was waiting for a furniture delivery. So here's another story about how you just have to be available all of the time in Mexico. So I told them, you must deliver it between 10 a.m. and 2:30 in the afternoon. I told them if you come a minute earlier or a minute later, I cannot answer. Not only I can't answer the door, I cannot answer the phone. So I get a message like shortly after 10 o'clock saying they're on their way. I wasn't sure what that meant because it was coming from about 2 hours away, if they had just left or they were giving me a warning that they were almost in the area. So that means I have to be stuck at home all day, ready to answer the phone or the door. And of course they show up after 2:30. So this is why I lied. My class didn't actually start until 3, but I have to be signed in 10 minutes prior. So literally, if they had come 10 minutes later, literally they would have wasted their time coming here. Why? Because they cannot follow simple instructions. Like, maybe a lot of jobs in Mexico are flexible and you can close your store for a few minutes to do what you need to do. Based on the elementary school I taught at here, the teacher can leave the kids unattended and go to the office or the bathroom. That's not how it works in the US, which is where my main job is based out of. That's why I made it clear, hey, I literally cannot answer if you come before or after this time. But they didn't listen. And I knew they weren't going to listen, which is why I lied. So to get back to the point, that's why we're going for groceries today, but we're going to the indoor market because that's the only thing available today. If I go to the center, there are a few vendors, but not many. And the market is a little closer. So we're going to go out to eat before we get to the market because there's not enough time to get there and back and cook and eat. There might barely be enough time to do that, but I do have a lot of work to get caught up on with. But I am behind with my lesson plans, so I need to allow a little time to get caught up on those too. Because ideally, I don't want to have to work Saturday or Sunday. And if you're new here, I've accepted way too many classes and students just to recuperate money from building the house. And then we can take it easier once we've rebuilt the savings up a bit. I do have leftover macaroni from yesterday, but I need that for dinner because it's harder to find stuff close by to eat in the evening than during the day, and my schedule is not normal today. Usually after 2:40 I'm free, but tomorrow's kids had to reschedule and they take a 2-hour class, so I have to go there this evening. So I'll have my macaroni for dinner. We are going to eat down there. I know I've said this before, but I do not like filming when it looks like I might be filming somebody. So I just quickly took out my camera as discreetly as possible. But it's like obvious that you're holding your phone up and you're not texting or you're not talking to somebody. So once we get home, we need to put these fruits and vegetables to soak in their like sanitizer. Maybe sanitizer isn't the right word, but they're whatever it is that cleans them. And we need to try and work on lesson plans for a bit. And I need to get some photocopies made because I need to notify immigration that I moved. If you change jobs or move, you do have to notify them of those changes. Sorry, I'm probably holding the camera very close to my face, but I'm trying to make sure you can hear me too since my microphone doesn't work. But I am always making photocopies. If you ever need photocopies, you can look for a papeleria, which is like a school supply store. They usually make photocopies, or you can look for like an internet cafe. So where I live is known for barbacoa, which is usually made of sheep. They steam it below the ground. So you do see a lot of shepherds, can we call them shepherds, in the year of 2024, walking their sheep around to eat. Obviously I'm vegan, but I do appreciate that they're at least not just stuck in some little spot crammed together, like with factory farming. But it is still sad to think about, but people are always walking their sheep. And sometimes they have like 1 or 2 goats with them too. And usually they have a dog. I'm starting to get a little warm. That's the thing here, in the mornings and evenings it's very chilly, but then in the afternoon it's nice to warm to hot. So a lot of times I wear shorts with long sleeve or shorts with a sweatshirt, or I just change. So I rarely look at the camera while I'm vlogging like this. Try not to step in poop or trip, and try not to stare right into the sun either. I bet there's a Sammy and a Ruthie waiting for me. Where are they? They're asleep. Hi, kids. Hi, Sam. Hi, Ruth. I missed you too. I also need to go fill up my garrafon. That's not going to happen today. Thursdays are supposed to be kind of chill once I've finished teaching, but because tomorrow's kids rescheduled for today and they're a 2-hour class, oh well, tomorrow will be easy. That I was getting warm, but my house stays very, very cool. Even once it's hot outside for the day, the house has still been staying very cool. This is the sanitizer or disinfectant. Also, I don't know if you could see in the last clip, but no, the kitchen is still not finished. Even though I made it clear, hey, I have a roommate coming, it needs to be finished. It needs to be finished this day. That means nothing to them. Gotta do my eye drops every 3 hours. Check out the video on going to the eye doctor here. So while I'm trying to plan for my classes here, can we just talk about how it's always the person that's in charge that has no idea what they're doing? So basically the platform I am required to use is like the equivalent if Dollar Tree made PowerPoint. So would it kind of get the job done? Yeah. Are there much better options that people already know how to use? Yes. So I'm doing what I can with the platform, but it barely works for just typing something on the screen. Like the font starts writing way off screen. You have to move the text box every time. As you're typing, the text starts shifting off screen. And then in some cases, the standards I'm supposed to teach don't quite make sense. Man, I have something in my eye. So for example, one of the classes I had this morning, she is supposed to be working with non-fiction, but one of the standards we're supposed to be working on goes better with fiction. So it's very hard to find a text that's non-fiction and that also addresses the standard we need to cover. And I think I mentioned earlier, we're working on the same 2 or 3 standards for the entire school year. And I started teaching a new class for this company this week, Monday. And I told them for 2 weeks leading up, hey, on my end, it's not showing me where in the curriculum I'm supposed to start with them. Finally, the day of the class, so it's too late to plan for it, they tell me this information. It's like a letter and number combination. Do you think that letter and number combination was actually a choice on the curriculum guide? No, so I picked the one that was closest, because at this point I'm done reminding them every day. I mean, I did tell them again, hey, this wasn't a choice, I just chose one that was kind of similar. And then also at the end of each class, I'm supposed to give them a little like exit ticket as a formative assessment. And then based on how they do, I'm supposed to go on to the next lesson in that like cycle, or go on to a completely different lesson. And I looked at the curriculum, and let's say that they need more help. I looked at that very next lesson in that cycle. It has nothing to do with the previous lesson. And this, my friends, is why nobody can keep teachers around. And I could go on and on and on about this company I'm working for. But one, I'm not trying to defame anyone. Of course, I'm not going to give their name. And two, I am doing well financially. Okay, actually, we cannot lesson plan right now. I need to finish putting the stuff away in the new cabinet in the bathroom before my roommate comes home. Just because it's a hot mess, and I told her I would do that today. And I need to be respectful that someone else lives here besides me. So we'll have to do lesson planning tonight after all of my classes. Which at that point, my brain is probably going to be done for the day, so more than likely, lesson planning will have to wait until tomorrow. Yes, I literally just shoved it all into the drawer. Okay, I've moved to my bedroom for the next 2 classes because my roommate will be coming home soon. My room is also not finished. I'm waiting for the carpenter to come next weekend, whatever the 18th is, to install the closet. So this next class is first grade Spanish. Again, he's a native speaker. It's a lot of counting syllables. During the last class, we saw words that had BR, FR, DR, CR, etc. And then after that class, I have about a 20-30 minute break. And then I have high school ELA, except for these kids never show up, but I still have to be logged in just in case. So there was another example of the person in charge doesn't know what they're doing. Today's goal was to describe the characters and events of a story. So what do they give us? Something nonfiction. Whales. Learning about whales. There are no events. It's not a story. They're facts, random facts about whales. Then I feel like I'm the idiot when I say, hey student, we're talking about describing characters in the events in the story today. There is no story. It's an article. Anyway, we're heading outside. I'll show you why we're heading outside. I was already a little stressed today because it's been a busy day, but it's just getting worse. Right, Sammy? Okay, Sam, come on. You have something you have to do. You want to show the internet what you did? Even though the lid fits on there and twists closed? Okay, like usual, those kids did not show up. After I cleaned up Sammy's mess, I ate my macaroni real quick. My next class starts at 4:30 and I walk there. So I have a little over an hour and I'm just tired and I've had a migraine for a week. Not a migraine where your head physically hurts, but it's the kind where you're just very, very sensitive to the light and you just want to close your eyes. I think it's because I'm working on the computer all day. So I doubt I'm able to work on my lesson plans today and just probably take it easy besides going to my last class. Okay, so I've been talking to somebody on Facebook about buying a saxophone. If it looks like I'm crying, I just put my eye drops in. So I'm going to the ATM to get the money just in case I have time to get it. As long as it plays well, I do want it. I just don't know if I have time to go get it. They said they might be able to bring it to me. But we're also going to the papeleria to get our photocopies for immigration tomorrow. Like I was saying, I have to notify them that I moved. No, the ATM is going to have to wait because it's way over there and I have class way over there. I'm not quite going to have enough time. So we'll just make our photocopies for now and we'll go to the ATM tomorrow. I'll give you all a view of the way to work. But I had to walk back past the house coming from getting the photocopies to get to work. And of course the doggies are upset that I didn't come home, that I walked right past them. It's about a 20-minute walk to work. But since I didn't have time to go to the ATM, I'm going to be a tad early getting there, so we'll stop and get our oatmeal on the way. I am not complaining, but it is hot today. I got up to 80, but I much prefer that than the cold. I hate being cold. Okay, so it's 6:30. I'm heading home. I am so hungry. I think we're just going to have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and go ahead and make food, but for tomorrow. Class went well. We were talking about technology and like addiction and how it has decreased our ability to focus. We had a good discussion. I just cannot with this dog. I can't leave him inside because this is what my house would look like on the inside. I bought the trash can where the lid screws on to prevent this. I don't have the time for this. So I ate my peanut butter and jelly while I watched YouTube, and then I cleaned up Sammy's mess. I don't know what to do with him. I can't keep doing this. I have a very busy schedule. So I'm just waiting for my veggies to roast in the oven, and then I'm off to bed. I'm exhausted. So yeah, this is a pretty typical day between Monday and Thursday. Fridays are pretty easy. I just have a couple classes in the morning. I have a class Sunday morning. Otherwise, Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sundays are pretty free. If you'd like to see more content about me living in Mexico, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Adios.